Rule number 4 for categorical syllogisms says this. A negative conclusion requires a negative premise, and a negative premise requires a negative conclusion. What that means is this. Say you have this argument. All logic students are philosophy students. Some philosophy students are troublemakers. Therefore, some troublemakers are not logic students. Here we can see that we have a negative conclusion, but none of the premises are negative statements, right? The O statement conclusion is negative, and the A and I statement premises are both affirmative. And according to rule number 4, a negative conclusion requires that one of the premises be negative. Similarly, take a look at this argument. All logic students are philosophy students. Some philosophy students are not troublemakers. Therefore, some troublemakers are logic students. Second premise here is a negative statement, but the conclusion is an affirmative one. And again, rule number 4 says a negative premise requires a negative conclusion. So as I said in an earlier lecture, negative statements always come in pairs in valid categorical syllogisms, and one member of the pair of negative statements is going to appear as the conclusion, and the other member of the pair of negative statements is going to appear as a premise. Rule number 3 tells us we're never going to have both negative premises in a valid categorical syllogism. And rule number 4 says if you've got a negative premise, your conclusion better be negative as well. And conversely, if you've got a negative premise, one of your premises needs to be negative. And if it's not, then we've committed this fallacy, which rolls right off the tongue. You're either drawing a negative conclusion from an affirmative premise, or you're drawing an affirmative conclusion from a negative premise. Either way, the argument is invalid.